Hey, brothers and sisters in Christ, do not call the fashion police on my hair. I've just stopped caring. It's night time, whatever. I just want to talk about narcissism again. For those that are struggling being in a lovingless relationship where you bring the love and they don't bring anything. Now, everything with a narcissist is one big game. They just want you to play their game, and it's a rigged game that you can't win. And basically, the only way for you to win is to stop playing. And, you know, I'd been in a relationship for 3.5 years that was a loveless relationship. There was no sex, there was no passion, there was no care factor at all from her. The only thing she cared about is getting on her mobile phone and getting validation from some surface level people. Now, what I call surface level people are people that are shallow and don't have any depth to them. They're just the same as her, just seeking validation from online means. And they're very boring people that have nothing better to do, and they just love to gossip, sit around a table and gossip every day. And before I had discovered the evidence that I have now, I would just say to God, just tell me, God, just tell me the truth, what's happened, you know. And he brought me to Lamentations chapter 1 in the Bible, and basically this story, people tell me it's supposed to be about Israel, but I think personally he sent this to me as a personal message, because the Bible is very deep and laid like an onion. So I'm going to read starting from verses 2 for what he sent me when I asked him that question, and it was, "She weepeth sore in the night, and her tears are on her cheeks. Among all her lovers she hath none to comfort her. All her friends have dealt treacherously with her. They are become her enemies. Judah is gone into captivity because of affliction, and because of great servitude. She dwelleth among the heathen. She findeth no rest. All her persecutors overtook her between the straits. The ways of Zion do mourn, because none come to the solemn feast. All her gates are desolate. Her priests sigh, her virgins are afflicted, and she is in bitterness. Her adversaries are the chief, her enemies prosper, for the Lord hath afflicted her for the multitude of her transgressions. Her children are gone into captivity before the enemy. And from the daughter of Zion all her beauty is departed. Her princes are become like harts that find no pasture, and they are gone without strength before the pursuer. Jerusalem, remember in the days of her affliction and of her miseries, all her pleasant things that she had in the days of old, when her people fell into the hand of the enemy, and none did help her. The adversaries saw her and did mock at her Sabbaths. Jerusalem hath grievously sinned, therefore she is removed, and all that honoured her despise her, because they have seen her nakedness, yea, she sigheth and turneth backward. Her filthiness is in her skirts. She remembereth not her last end, therefore is she come down wonderfully. She had no comforter. O Lord, behold my affliction, for the enemy hath magnified itself." So, while people might argue that's about Jerusalem, a lot of the things that were said in there actually resonate with me, that these are happening to the narcissist for me at the moment. Like, we split up roughly 3 months ago, and she had 2 or 3 men, I can't confirm the third one, on the go, and one of them she was with before we split, and basically lately she just comes home to my house as if nothing's happened, pretends like she's a perfect housewife, like she's done nothing wrong, and nobody calls her anymore. Like, she used to pretend she had people calling her, but nobody calls her. Like, it's like God's justice has come upon her, and she doesn't realize it. And the sad thing is, God's been talking to her all the time, saying, you're doing the wrong thing. You need to go the other way. You need to back out. You've taken a wrong turn. And she just keeps taking the wrong turn. And more and more people are starting to see behind the mask. But what they don't realise too is the reason they can't sleep at night anymore, because my narc used to sleep through anything. A bomb could be going off. She'd sleep straight all night long, and she'd be dreaming of other men all night because she was making these horrible sucking sounds all night, and while she denied me, and she would get in an argument with me before she went to sleep, and then sleep soundly while I was just like feeling like rubbish because we'd had a fight. And that's just how they operate. But since I left her, she has not had one good night's sleep. I can hear her up all night, every night, and I see it every day that she is always yawning, tired, worn out. And she's starting to age prematurely. This is part of the judgment for them, because God won't let them rest, and He's removed His grace from them. Their actual demons start attacking them because they're like, well, you're not giving us what we want. You're not giving us that great supply that we used to have. They actually start attacking them, and they won't give them any rest. And with everything crumbling around me, like the bills are just piling up, you know, I'm running out of resources. It's hard to manage these things day to day, because the narcissist turns you into a prisoner in your own house, because they don't want you going around telling the truth when they've had to spread so many lies to so many people, and they've gone to so much effort to turn you into the bad guy, like you're the villain and they're the victim. They don't want you then going around telling the truth, because people will be like, hey, what he's actually saying makes sense compared to all this BS we've been hearing. So they just trap you in your house, make it impossible for you to actually reach out to people and tell them what happened. So God was not worried. God was not worried at all. He's just like, son, come in the secret place of the Most High. And Psalms 91, that's what you need to pray over yourself if you're going through narcissistic abuse. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God. In Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the newsome pestilence. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For He shall give His angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under foot, because He has set His love upon me. Therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honour him. With long life will I satisfy him, and shew him my salvation. So there's two things in there that go through that whole psalm, and it's like, I will protect the righteous and let them trample on the wicked. So it's most important to understand that that is God's stance on things. If you're wicked, he's not going to listen to your prayers. But if you're righteous, he's not going to let anything happen to you. So you just need to keep following God if you're in this situation. In Psalms chapter 31, verse 20, it reads, "Thou shalt hide them in the secret of thy presence from the pride of man. Thou shalt keep them secretly in a pavilion from the strife of tongues." So that's how dangerous the tongue is. God wants to hide you from it. Now, the narcissists commonly come with a religious spirit, and they love to pray in front of all the heathens and the other religions, like, oh, so you're Buddhists and you're Muslims, we can all pray together. But in Matthew chapter 6, verse 6, it reads, "But thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly." That's why you don't ever see me praying on my videos. Like, I know a lot of people do it, and I'm not saying it's terrible. Sometimes it helps people, but I refuse to do it because basically God wants you to pray to him in secret. And the main reason for that is God's got like 9 billion people in the world, if we can count the accuracy of the statistics. But he wants a secret relationship with every single one of those people. He treats every single person as a personal relationship to him, like it's just you and him one-on-one. And that's why we should get in the secret place. Get before the throne of God, get on your knees and humble yourself. In Psalms chapter 27, verse 5, it reads, "For in the time of trouble he shall hide me in his pavilion. In the secret of his tabernacle shall he hide me. He shall set me up upon a rock." Why a rock? Because a rock is hard to move, and that's what God is. God is the rock. If your foundation is in God, you will not be moved. And the stupidity of the narcissist, like, it always makes me laugh. They like hide text messages that you send them. They delete them. They go on dating apps. They're on every single dating app, and they've got like 3 different phones, so they can keep one that's clean for work, and then they've got their dirty phone, and then they've got one for just their friends. And they do all these dirty things, and they just think, oh, I can just delete the dating app, and then nobody knows I've sent any messages, or I'll just delete the messages on the dating app. The thing with computers is you can never delete the information, and the internet is even more so. You can never delete it. All it takes is someone with the right tools and software, and they can undelete everything that you've ever done. And the narcissist would have so much dirt that someone can sift through. And that's how dumb they are. They just think they can play these games and they'll never get caught. But in Mark chapter 4, verse 22, God promises us that this is not so. It says, "For there is nothing hid which shall not be manifested, neither was anything kept secret, but that it should come abroad." So the truth comes out, no matter what you try and do. It always comes out because that is God's law. God made truth, and that's how truth works. And just as another example, in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 14, it reads, "For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil." So these master manipulators, these narcissists, they're that stupid that they actually think, oh, I can manipulate God. I can lie to God because I lie to everyone else and it works on them. So why wouldn't it work on God? Maybe because he can perceive what's actually in your heart and he doesn't miss anything. all those hidden messages you did, all those filthy things you did, like in your room when nobody knew, or out in the toilets with some random person, or people that you knew that you just thought, oh, I can do this while my husband's sitting over there and he won't even know. That sort of thing. God knows it all, and you will be judged accordingly for it. And a perfect example of a narcissist is in Psalms chapter 10, verse 8. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. So basically, he's always scanning for weakness, or she is, and when they see someone they think they can exploit, steal from, cheat, they'll do it. They love it. And part of the spiritual warfare with narcissists, and this is the thing you have to be careful of, and I never knew could happen, but it does. They go to witches and warlocks and do black magic, and they try and do a thing which is called destiny swapping, and they basically try to steal a chosen one's light, or a good person's light that's a righteous person, and then they go and get supply with it. Like they take your blessings and they use it to cheat on you, and they basically look like in the spirit that they're a righteous person. So because they've stolen your righteous light, it covers them in almost like a light aura, so that if other people that have good discernment see them, they'll look at them and think, oh, isn't that a little angel? It disguises their true intention, but the thing is, what they don't realize is you can't steal God's light. He might let you get away with something like that just to see what happens, but you can't steal someone's blessings that is determined for them from God. You can't stop anything that God puts in place. God spoke the world into existence. With his mouth, he made the world. And that's what they don't understand. And if you're suffering with these people in your life, you need to cut them off and move on with your life, because there's no way that God has sanctified marriage with a Jezebel, marriage with a Belial, marriage with a Leviathan spirit. This just means you're unequally yoked. You've ended up rushing into something, or not waiting on God to get your partner, and you ended up with this person in your life. Or maybe it's a co-worker, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a family member, and you've just thought, oh, I've known them for a long time, I'll just put up with their flaws. But this is more than flaws. A lot of the time these people just want to kill you. And killing someone is not always just pulling a knife out and stabbing them, or choking them, or being violent. Sometimes it's more subtle ways, like, oh, I'll put something in your food and over time it'll kill you, or I'll expose you to this or that, or I just leave information out about things that are dangerous, so that on the hopes that something happens to you, or I'll talk to other people about you in the hopes that they'll kill you. These sorts of things. This is what the narcissists do, because they have the Jezebel spirit, and the reason they have that spirit is because they suffered trauma, or they were unloved as a child, and so they started listening to the lies of the demons, and it opened doors in their life. And once you get demons inside of you, it changes you. You're no longer a good person. You're listening to the demons, and they're covered in darkness. So you trade light for darkness, and you see darkness as light and light for darkness. You cannot actually even understand or comprehend what light is, or when a good person comes into your life, because you see them as evil. Because that's what the demons do. They flip everything on the head. And that's what's so crazy about these narcissists. They go around telling everyone that they're the best person in the world until those people believe it. And the ones that don't believe it, they cut them off and drop them, and then they become the next project. Like, oh no, you don't want to talk to that person, they're unstable. Or you don't want to talk to this person, she's a tart, she's always got different blokes. And it's like, hang on a minute, he who smelt it dealt it. You're the one that's doing these things, and yet you're judging other people on it. Like, you're saying they're doing it, and they might be completely innocent. You know, just because you see a woman out with a bunch of different blokes on different days of the week, doesn't mean that they've slept with any of them. They might just be a serial dater, and they just keep going, oh, I just can't find a man, you know, like they've got high standards. But to the narcissist, they're like, oh, that's a weak-minded person that I can exploit to make myself look good, while, you know, causing drama in their life, hating on them. It'll give me something to do. And it makes me forget about all the evil things I've done. Like, because the narcissists are capable of feeling guilt, and they do feel pain. The thing is, they push their pain and guilt down so far that they don't feel anything because they've suppressed their feelings. And one day it's going to come out and it's going to absolutely destroy them, because you suppress a couple of feelings, it hurts a little bit. It hurts a little bit more than it would if you just felt those feelings. But if you suppress a whole lifetime of feelings, that can kill you. Because if it all comes back at once, like, you won't be able to handle it. And I know these things because God's made me deal with my feelings the last 3 months for my childhood trauma. Because sometimes, you know, childhood trauma leads to narcissism. Sometimes it leads to people pleasing. Sometimes it leads to other things, you know, but it's not always bad what it leads to, but it can be a weakness, you know, that you need to grow from. The saddest part about this is narcissists never learn their lesson. Like, they go through life on the washing machine, just going through the spin cycle all the time, just going around in circles, getting stuck, and never getting anywhere in life, because they can't think past their next motivation, which is, who can I cheat now? Who can I steal on now? Who can I rob? You know, who can I exploit? All these things, instead of being a good person. And the sad thing is, if they actually felt their feelings and they dealt with their guilt and they got a little bit of help, they could start living authentically. And what this would mean for them is they would be at peace. They wouldn't have to be rushing around all the time, looking over their shoulder to think, hey, is one of those people I wronged going to come and bash me or kill me, you know, because I'm such a good person that I have to look over my shoulder to see what enemies are after me. And that in my case, the narcissist would say things like, oh, I just don't trust on men anymore. Men have always let me down. And it's like, if they could think higher, they would think, hang on a minute, all these different men from all these different backgrounds have let me down, or me, the single common denominator between all these relationships, maybe I'm the actual problem, you know? They can just not even fathom that. In my case, the narcissist spent 8 years in court with one of her partners, just trying to keep him stuck. She just wanted to keep taking him to court forever, and I tried to help her out and paid like 50 grand in lawyers' fees to help her speed up her case and stuff like that. And she was still prolonging it with a $600 an hour lawyer. Like, she's kept the case going forever, and the actual judge was yelling at her saying, why is this case still going? What is wrong with you? Why can't you guys work this out? And she couldn't understand it because she'd been a judge her whole life, and it's like, I've never seen this before. What's going on? And that's what narcissists do. They're not going to court for any other reason than, oh, this will keep one of my toys stuck, because they view all their partners as toys. And this is how sick they are, and this is why I need to get away from them, because they never care about you. They don't care about any of their partners. It's just another way for them to validate. You know, like in my case, my partner's like a 5 out of 10 when her makeup's off, maybe a 7 when she really applies the foundation on, if you can call it that, the mask. And the sad thing is, she thinks she's a queen. She thinks she's the most beautiful woman in the world. And I'm not saying these things to be nasty. I'm just saying, oh, she's got tickets on herself. And a lot of narcissists do. They're so deluded, they don't realise, hey, you're average, you know. There's way better people out there than you, and they've got a heart. So they really need to do work on themselves. And if you're with this kind of person, you need to just work on yourself as well. Not because you've got major problems, but because you've got to get past all the lies they've told you and they've stuck in your head for whatever reason, and see your true value. And there are much better people out there, but don't be surprised that the narcissist will stalk you for the rest of your life, unless they die, because that's what they do. They want to know where their toys are at all times, and they'll use a lot of fake accounts. I've already flagged a whole bunch that have been used on me, and they just keep making them. My ex has 6 Facebook accounts, and like at least 2 or 3 of them didn't have logins, which means they use mobile phone numbers for the logins, which means she has 3 phones. Isn't that sick? But anyway, I know now the truth, and I just want to get it out to people and hope it helps them in their journey, and that they can get away from their stalker, their misery. You know, you ever seen that movie Misery with Kathy Bates in it? That's exactly what the narcissists are like. And actually, my narcissist looks just like Kathy Bates, which is scary to think about. I don't know what I was thinking going out with her. So just God bless all of you, and remember, Jesus loves you. Cry out to Jesus and he will help you, and he really wants to help you. He's just waiting. He's waiting at the door. He's in the room. He's your biggest supporter, and Jesus will never leave you, and he'll never forsake you. And have a blessed night.